Sri Arya Ji, who is the director of the Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Cultural Cooperation for the Indian High Commission, who was the driving force behind this exhibition. We have Himlata Di, Sister Himlata from the Brahma Kumari movement. We also have a number of persons, Brother Harry from the ILO. How did I say it right? Yes? We have IRO. I apologize. Forgive me, I've been a little under the weather, guys, so you have to bear with me. And I am still a little bit stunned, I have to tell you, when we were mounting the photos last night, and we were so distracted. What we should have done perhaps in a much shorter space of time took us a lot longer, because we ourselves were enthralled and got sucked in. We were lost in this story, this wonderful drama. It was like a movie. It was like a book where you opened a page and you couldn't put it down, you wish, until you got to the end. Because these pictures, these 100 photos, told the story of this great soul. And we were so lost in admiring what the pictures said and the message, and we got carried away talking about, oh, this one is so powerful, and this one is so moving, and this one makes you feel, that we forgot that we had time constraints and we had to mount the photos. There are also a number of other important persons here who I would be remiss in not mentioning. Mr. Mohan Sigovind, head of the Gandhi Seva Sangh, Mr. Evans Hari, chairman of the Krishna Mandir 3rd Street. There are others whose personages I may not remember, please forgive me, but one woman in particular I have to mention, and that is Mrs. Ramlakan Mausi, who is my husband's Masi, so I will take the liberties of being informal. Please stand, Mati. Her late husband, Mr. Ramjas Ramlakan, who is the former president of the Gandhi Seva Sangh, who I know would have loved and enjoyed this particular exhibition, because he was a man of letters, of books, and of literature, and he would have loved this. I am not going to tarry much longer by going on and on and on. There are a number of people here. We have members of our council and our administration, and I have to take the moment to mention them because, as you would have found in your invitations, this is in collaboration with the Indian High Commission, the San Fernando City Corporation, the San Fernando City Council, His Worship the Mayor, Alderman Kazim Hussain, the aldermen and councillors, and the administration of the San Fernando City Corporation, and our Deputy CEO, Mrs. Willagai Straker, is here, as well as our other heads. Our Head of Health, Mr. Jameel Mohammed, and various other personages are here. His Excellency, the former Ambassador to Brazil, His Excellency Mr. Moore, Winston Moore is here, and our Deputy Mayor is sitting at the back. And you have an opportunity, after we finish the formal proceedings, when you go in and look at it, to mix and mingle and chat with all of us and all of them that I have mentioned. You know, Mahatma Gandhi, I had the privilege and the honor on two counts, not in October, but last year around the same time when we celebrated his death and placed the garland and spoke. I had the honor and the privilege of representing my mayor, who is an amazing man and one of the few people who encompasses and opens his arms to everyone, whatever your religion, your creed, your race, whatever it is. He really is the people's mayor. He is that person. And I had the honor and the privilege of representing him at that event, and also to speak at that event on my own behalf as well. And as I said then, this has very special meaning for me, and I'm very honored to be here as the MC and to have been part of this project, RAG. Because, as I said then, many of you may not remember, but for me, this gentleman, this soul, this wisdom resonates with me. Not because he was a Mahatma and a great soul, and we all refer to him as if he is godlike, but for me, because he was a man. Because he started off with flaws, as we all do. He started off with biases and suppositions and ideas where he thought he may have been better than others because of where he was born or how he was born. But the transition that he made, that journey where he went from that and he grew into the one that we rever today, and the change and the satyagraha that he's developed, the whole movement of non-violence, of love, of opening his arms and his world. And when you read his history and you see in the photos, he was an influence on some of the greatest non-violent minds of our time. Martin Luther King Jr. quoted Gandhi regularly. He was friends with a number of other people who have will resonate now and will continue to resonate throughout our history. But for me, he taught me and many of us what it is to be human, what we need to aspire to. Because we as humans think, well, okay, I'm only human, and we give away that gift that we have been given from God. We can become and evolve into so much more. And he certainly lived what he said. One of the few. We have many who talk the talk, but very few who walk what they talk. And having said all of that, I know we have a short program and we've had a bit of a wait, and these gentlemen are sitting here. I would like to take this opportunity to call on His Excellency, the High Commissioner of the Indian High Commissioner, the High Commissioner for India to Trinidad and Tobago, to come and say a few words to you on this event.
Thank you very much, Vidyaji. It's a pleasure to listen to your words. I feel extremely happy to be amongst the distinguished people of this country, and particularly all the distinguished people from this region. This gives me a great privilege. I feel honored with your presence. To begin with, I'm not supposed to make a speech because I'm just making some welcome remarks. We have distinguished speakers today who will be speaking on the life and work of Mahatma Gandhi today. First of all, let me express my very sincere thanks to Mayor of San Fernando, Mr. Qasim Hussain, who has given us this platform, who has collaborated with us, and who has extended all the support for organizing this event in this city and in his own office. So thank you very much, Qasim Saab. It's a pleasure to meet you and to be in your city. I'm thankful to Senator Avinash Singh because I know him before, and he has great interest in the works of Mahatma Gandhi. He was in India also sometime in the middle of last year. And what I understand from him is that he was greatly influenced by his visit in India. But he has been reading and speaking on the life of Mahatma. So we have a very good young speaker in front of us to tell us about the fascinating facets of Mahatma's life. Thank you very much for accepting this invitation and to be with us this afternoon, this evening. Then I'm grateful to Mrs. Ram Lakhan. She is here. Unfortunately, we don't have her spouse. I'm very sorry for that, but this is how the life is. But thank you very much, because your husband was the one who set up the Mahatma Gandhi Seva Sangh, and I think it has been working ever since. And we now have acting president Tribhuvanji, who is very active and who has been working very hard. We also have Sister Hemlata from the Raj Yoga Center, and Brother Harry, my dear friend, who is representing all the religions and all the societies, communities in the country, and many more distinguished people. We have Mr. Asat Narayan representing the insurance. If you have any problem on life and anything, he is there to insure you. So we have all the distinguished people. I'm sorry I don't know some of the names. If I miss them out, please forgive me for that. You see, to speak on the life and works of Mahatma is not an easy thing. Because in the 19th and 20th century, I don't know anybody else who could have done as much in this world as he did. He was born in a fairly rich family in Gujarat and then moved to England to become barrister. In those days, to become barrister and you can earn a fabulously good life. It was a job which will get you all the privileges you can imagine in those times. But he chose differently. When he saw the apartheid in South Africa, he felt tormented and he said, "This is a cause I will fight for." And he started a struggle against the British in South Africa. So part of his determination was born in that country. And then he came to India and he became the symbol of India's freedom movement. The way he led the movement is remarkable. It is, I think, not only a precedence, but a unique example till date in this world that a country as large as India was able to gain freedom without shedding a bullet. The bullets were there, but they were all from the British side, not from the Indian side. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre, it was all the British, the General Dyer ordered massacre of the people, but not from the Indian side. He laid a struggle with great discipline, with great commitment, and he achieved the objective. With his frail body, he was able to shake the empire on which the sun never set. Winston Churchill once said, "Half-naked fakir has been able to shake the British Empire." And he was half-naked fakir in that sense because he was a symbol of austerity. The life he lived is an example. It's very, very few people who can shed all their privileges, comforts, and live a life as he did. It's extremely difficult for any person, including myself. We're all tempted to use the comforts, but he decided to do away with all of them and lived a life which was unbelievably simple. He was a social reformer. He fought against what we call the caste system in India. He fought for the Harijans. He went and cleaned their toilets. Can you believe it? A man of his stature. He wanted to teach them how to live with hygiene, how to keep things clean. He fought with them. He fought for them. He was advocating what you call an economic system based on self-reliance of every village, so that you don't have to go anywhere else. You are autonomous, you are independent in your own place where you are living. Today, because we have not observed his advice, we have what we call economic concentration around the world. As I say once in a while that there is one single individual in this world who owns 40% of who owns more assets than 40 countries own in this world. That kind of concentration of wealth has come because we did not follow his advice. So there are many things, many facets of his life which we can emulate, which we can understand, we can try to understand. So I think this exposition will give you some example of his simplicity, of the way he led the nation, of the way he fought for this causes. So I'm grateful to all of you for coming in this large number on this occasion. Before I conclude, I would like to also mention that I would like to invite all of you on the 30th of January, when we will have a program in Raj Yoga Center. We will come to the statue of Mahatma, lay the garland there, and then we'll go to Raj Yoga Center where we will have some talks on Mahatma on that day, followed by dinner. So I will request all of you. I hope you will accept and you will join me on that. Thank you very much for coming, and I wish you the very best in your personal life, and let us see if we can follow at least a few thoughts, at least a few examples from the life and works of the great soul Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency Sri Gupta ji, Gauri Shankar Gupta ji, High Commissioner from India. You know, one of the things I admire as well about Mahatma Gandhi as he evolved is his message, and he himself transcended religion, race, ethnicity. He was able to evolve into such a mind that he stopped seeing those things. I honestly think so. I think his words, his actions, everything that he wrote, and he was an avid writer, an avid reader, an avid speaker, indicated that he soon became one who did not see you or I or anyone as an Indian, an African, an American, a European, a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian. I mean, he stood against the Indian government to insist that gratuities be paid, monies that were owed and so on behalf of the Islamic community when they separated into Pakistan. Yes. And one of the things with this exhibition, I would ask that each of you, when you leave here, please tell anyone and everyone you know. And I'm so glad to see Father here. We did invite a number of the other churches, Catholic as well. Well, he's here for the Catholic Church, Methodist, Presbyterian, Anglican, and a number of the mosques and so on. Because it is important to remember. Please forgive me, I don't mean to overstep, but for me, it is important to remember that his message was not about these denominations and these boundaries and labels that we like to give ourselves on each other. He was not of that. He was of love and unity and strength and humanity. And that was it. That's what he was about. So please invite your school kids, your children, your grandchildren, your neighbor, the co-worker, the friend around the corner. They would have missed such an opportunity to have such enrichment if they don't come and see this exhibition. I really think so. Just a little teaser of one of the things you will be seeing inside. And Sundar, could you take around the laptop to Mr. Salandi, please, to the back. A little teaser of what you will be seeing is while you're going through the exhibition, the High Commission and Arya Ji from the Mahatma Gandhi Institute have provided some footage, some video clips and so on that will be running that you can have a look at. And part of our exhibition from tomorrow, you can, while you're wandering through, you can sit and look at these that will be scheduled at set times that will give you visual with talking and sound, as they say. But with no further ado, let me call our guest speaker for tonight. He is a young man who a lot of us who are a lot older than him do admire, because he is an example of what the belief in yourself and faith in the gifts that you are given that you have to use. There's no good if you have knowledge or if you learn. You can go to school and study or do anything and learn all of it. It is of no worth if you don't share it. For the greatest scholar, you can have 10 and 12 letters after your name. If you don't share that knowledge or put it to use for others, and you just hoard it to yourself, it's of no value. And he is an example of one of those who have taken the gifts that he's been given and worked and built on them, and is here today, a young man, a senator, Senator Avinash Singh, who is going to give our feature address for tonight.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for that wonderful introduction. Namaste, Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum. A pleasant good evening, one and all. His Worship, the Mayor of this wonderful city of San Fernando, Alderman Kazim Hussain. His Excellency, Shri Gauri Gupta, a man who I've met quite a number of months ago. And that encounter, has really left that sweet taste in my mouth. And every time I meet him, it tends to be a little bit emotional, so you will bear with me tonight. Members of this wonderful council, which is ably run and controlled by our dear friend, Alderman Kazim Hussain, who really, deserves a commend for tonight's proceedings, for joining venture with the Indian High Commission and the Mahatma Gandhi Institute to put on this exhibition. Other specially invited guests, other dignitaries, everyone, good night, and thank you for having me here as the feature address. Now let me start by addressing the reason why we are here. And to address that, some 67 years later, we are here to honor and glorify and to remember one of the greatest souls that ever passed through this planet called Earth. And this person we are speaking about is none other than Mahatma Gandhi, and his real name, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He was born in Porbandar, Gujarat, as the Honorable High Commission mentioned. He was born on the 2nd of October, 1869. Certainly not in our era, but we are here to remember these who would have left the foundation for us to work with. He was born to a Hindu mud family. His father was the chief minister of Porbandar, and his mother's religious devotion meant that his upbringing was infused with the Jain pacifist teachings of mutual tolerance, non-injury to living beings, and vegetarianism. He was a vegetarian. Now, let me start in the outset by saying I was, in India just a couple of months ago, and with the good fortune and the opportunity granted to me by the Indian High Commission and those who were responsible for that No India program, that was the 29th, I think it was the 28th or the 29th I would have attended. I was fortunate to visit the Birla House in Delhi. And for those of you all who don't know, that is where our Guru Dri Mahatma Gandhi, was assassinated. So I've had the opportunity to pay my respects at the location, and I was, accompanied by 5 other delegates, 4 other persons. It was a 5-member delegation to India, and that program was, orchestrated and paid for by the Indian High Commission and the government of India. Now, as a young person visiting and learning where my roots are, that was very important for me. And seeing that I'm also a member of parliament, it was really, it was really good for me to go there and see the largest democracy, as it is called, in the world. Now, Mahatma Gandhi lived a life, and in my opinion, I would judge it just like we would consider Sri Ram and the Ramayana, in that although he had the teachings, he really walked the walk. Now, he fought for unity, he fought for freedom, he fought for equality, he fought for his campaigns, he fought a non-violence campaign. So he was very successful in getting the results at that time without the use of violence. And we all know, and we can all go on any website or any, anyone can go on Google. The smallest child now could go on Google and Google Mahatma Gandhi, and all this information would pop up. So I would not dive too much into the scripts that is available online. But I would like to give you my own personal touch. Now, in studying Mahatma Gandhi, which I did, and I've read a lot of his work, I've read, all some of the events that took place in the past, even the salt strike. How much of us are really prepared to salt strike to prove a point? And that is the level of dedication and commitment one would go, right? Now, in his dying moments, it is said, and that was the sixth attempt to have him assassinated. So it really leaves you to wonder, and it's really what type of people this world is really breeding today. And we must all be aware of what is taking place in our surroundings. And I have been one of those persons who would have grown up in a stout Hindu home, who have been, taught Sanatan Dharma and the ways of life, and putting that teachings into actions. And we as well, I'm not a parent just yet, but I'm hoping to be soon in the coming year, I should say. We really have to pay attention and pay particular attention of the teachings that we give to our children in they growing up in society, and all these elements that we have around us, negative elements. Now, I was very, very, very proud to be here to witness, the inauguration, the framing of over 100 photos, and then when you walk through, you would get a picture as to what he really meant, what he really truly stand for. But in today's society, I'm very saddened as a young person, and I'll tell you why. I'm saddened to the fact that Mahatma Gandhi in his time, lived the life in which the generations after could have looked up to, because the people created Mahatma Gandhi, and the people created him as a role model that they can look up to and the generations can look up to. If we were to go on Hansard, almost every single sitting of this parliament and others around the world, we politicians tend to quote Mahatma Gandhi. Almost all. I do it, members of the parliament in Trinidad do it, members all over this world do it, without really understanding the person behind the quotes. And as I said, he inspired people like Dr. Martin Luther King in the United States, Nelson Mandela in South Africa, Steve Biko in South Africa, and so much others in society. But as a young person, when I look up to somebody in our time, who can we really look up to? Who can we really have that confidence in shaping us, shaping our future, shaping the elements of who you really are and what is your purpose on this earth? Who in this time has that credentials? The choices are very slim. And that is why I'm very sad as a young person in society growing up and not having, a wide choice, a wide list of persons that I could look up to in this present society, who I can say really and truly fights for the rights of the people, who believes there's one race called the human race. And that is very sad. And this is a message I would like to send. We all have to take the life of Mahatma Gandhi seriously. The leaders in today's time. We have to set the examples. We have to take the examples of Mahatma Gandhi. We have to enroll that in our own lives. Bestow that into your children's lives so that the future generations would be safe. Because the current rate we are going, you all seen it, you all read it in the newspapers. Someone in a wheelchair killed his wife the first time, killed his wife the second time, and he's on the run. And that is the level of evil that is festered in our society. And actions by Mahatma Gandhi trying to put an end to that, because he taught us An eye for an eye will leave the whole world blind. And if we were to live by those rules and live by those principles, because that is the most important thing you have as an individual, your character. And if you live by principle, that will be your guidance and your support in everything that you do. So we are here. As I say, I intend to be very, very brief, and in so doing, I would really like to commend all of you who showed that this few minutes we are spending here is much more important to that of anything else at this point in time. In that we could come here as one, and we can share this moment, this memorial moment, this historic moment, some 67 years after this great soul has passed on, and to remember him, and to really have appreciation to all those who we consider our ancestors, who would have worked hard, who would have toiled to bring this world, in fact, to bring this country, to bring we as a people to where we are. It's very sad that few in society is causing that progress to fall apart. And I would say it as it is, because we really need to step up. We need to look at what we are doing. If we really want to be exemplars in society, we have to walk the walk and don't just preach. Because we have a tendency in this world now to say it, in black and white, to preach it, but we don't act. Because a lot of leaders today, they will tell you to do this and do that, but when you look at their own track record, they are not doing it. And that is my simple, humble message to every single body. We have to create a person or persons in society in today's time that the future generations can look up to, and certainly they can quote in parliaments to come. We have to create that environment for those persons. We have to create another Mahatma Gandhi. May God rest his soul. We have to create another policy, another vision, another soul like that to really show us our purpose in this earth. Because that is what he really stood for, purpose. And he used religion, he used politics, he used all the platforms necessary to get his way. So, ladies and gentlemen, Alderman Kazim Hussein, who I've had a lot of respect for and I've known for quite some time, he's a good friend of mine. I would really like to commend him for hosting this, and would also like to extend that invitation on the 30th, in which we will proceed at the Mahatma Gandhi and show our respects to that great soul. It would mark the death anniversary, and then we would proceed to the Raja Yoga Center. So, without further ado, I would like to thank you all for listening to the few minutes that I've had, and to really, at least, if not learn, one thing from his life, at least, let us try to be better persons in society, and to try to create that change within our own self, and then we can preach to change others. So, thank you again, Sitaram, Namaskar, and pleasant good night on one and all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Singh. One of my colleagues on council and the other council members at the back may have a little giggle at this. You were talking about Googling, and one of his phrases that he coined, Your Worship, you remember, Councillor Anil Subram says, after God, there's Google. Still, you can Google anything that there is. We have to, Alderman Ratiram, you're the attorney beside Councillor Donovan. You and Councillor Donovan need to come together, patent that trademark that phrase. We can earn some revenue for the city by sending it out to everyone else. But sorry for the moment of lightness, but I had to tell you it was fun. I listened to Avinash speak, and he's so moved by what he said. He's so the strength of his belief in what he says, and you can tell, as you said, Guptaji, he's very moved, and he gets very emotional, and you said it yourself, Avinash. And it harks back to what I said earlier, and that is that Mahatma Ji taught us what is possible. Senator Singh said, that there were 6 attempts. The 6th attempt is when his life was taken. My father used to say, God rest his soul, that the moment you're born, you begin to die. And the one thing that we cannot we can't differentiate, we can't look for any separation and difference between us as human beings, is we all have to die. The day will come, and Surendra is smiling because this is something he says as well. The day will come when we will all have to face that divine, whatever the form you think he or she or it, or that eternal being, whatever form you choose to visualize, the day will come when we will meet. And what will we say? There are a few young people, there's some young boys who came in, well, I say young men, I shouldn't say boys. And when they came in and I introduced myself and they said they were invited by the Mahatma Gandhi Institution, I said, it's great to see some young people here. My niece is here as well. Great to see some young people here. And they would know in their popular culture there is some popular pop songs now, one in particular that's called I Lived. And I can't remember the band, I'm getting old. But the words of that song resonate with me as we stand here today talking about Mahatma Gandhi. And what it says is, I hope that when the time comes, you are able to say, I lived. And that's what he did. He lived every single moment, everything that happens to us. We whine, and no disrespect meant, I mean this generally, including myself. We whine and we lament and we look to find faults and we look to be better than each other and we want to one-up everybody else, and we forget in all of that drama of trying to be that we don't just live. God gave us this wonderful gift of being human, being born, being humanity. And what do we do with it? We waste it with pettiness and nonsense and fighting and arguing and who is darker than who and whose hair is straighter than whom and whose religion is more important than whom and who should get the bigger piece of the pie. And we forget to live. And when that time comes, as his time came, I think when he met his maker and he says, what do you have to say? I want to believe that he said to him, Bhagwan, I lived this life that you gave me. Having said that, all the talk that I am talking is delaying 2 things. One, a very important thing. The next speaker to bring greetings, and I believe the last speaker on our program, because it's a very short program, is the custodian of this city, the man who, and I rapped the table when Guptaji and Avinash Senator Singh said this wonderful city. I'm so proud of my San Fernando. Let me tell you, this beautiful and wonderful city of San Fernando means the world to me. I'm very proud that this is happening here, and not in Port of Spain, where everything seems to happen. Here in wonderful San Fernando, we are here. And he is the custodian of this wonderful city. As I said before, he's a man, he's very humble, he's open to all. It doesn't matter to him your politics, your race, your religion. He is there to champion everybody's cause, and it is my great honor to welcome to the podium and to be my boss. And I didn't say nice things just because he's my boss. I said it because it's true. His Worship, the Mayor of San Fernando, Alderman Kazim Hussein. So,
thank you very much, Alderman Mongal Isesa, who has really stood with the members of council to make sure this occasion take place. Thank you. His Excellency, High Commissioner of India, Sir Gauri Shankar Gupta, my friend, Senator Avinash Singh, I want to campaign for him a little bit. He'll be the next Member of Parliament from Caroni East. Carry Central? Central. Right. Deputy Mayor, Olaman Junior Regalo, Olaman Kevin Ratiram, Councillor Philip Montano, and Councillor Sherry Ali. Those are the members of council present this evening. We also have the Deputy CEO of the City Corporation, Ms. Wilma Guy-Straker, very quiet. We have here too from the administration, Chief Public Health Inspector, Mr. Jamil Mohammed, Director of the Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Cultural Cooperation, Mr. J.P. Arya, Brother Hari Prasad Maharaj, President of the Interreligious Organization of Trinidad and Tobago, Sister B.K. Emalata, President of the Raja Yoga Center, Mr. Bhagwan Sigobin, Vice Chairman of the Gandhi Siva Sangh, other venerable religious leaders, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. My dear friends, it is impossible not to recognize the remarkable life and the work of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, which had such a tremendous impact on the colonial Indian state, the British imperial power, and later on, the early months in the life of the proud new independent Indian nation. We are all aware that Mahatma Gandhi has been hailed as the father of the independent Indian nation, perhaps in the minds of most people for his use of the peaceful strategies to achieve objectives in the face of tremendous challenges. In Trinidad and Tobago and many hundreds of other countries, Mahatma Gandhi is regarded as the father of non-violent civil protests and even as a non-violent freedom fighter for his unwavering efforts of freeing India from British colonial rule. Trinidad and Tobago has been amongst the first countries to honor the great contribution of Mahatma Gandhi by erecting a statue in his honor on the Harris Promenade right here in the city of San Fernando in the year 1952. A village lies on the outskirts of San Fernando, also is named after him, that is Gandhi Village. The philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi, his life, his work will remain as a source of eternal inspiration for future generations. He has inspired several important personalities of modern times, among them Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela. We of the San Fernando City Council and the administration are therefore extremely privileged to host this photographic exhibition for the benefit of the citizens of San Fernando and the environs. In our diverse, plural society, there is much more we can learn from the example of the Mahatma. In my capacity as mayor of this wonderful city, I urge all citizens to embrace this golden opportunity to increase their knowledge of the life and work of the icon Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi by coming to this City Hall auditorium to view this magnificent collection of photographs. I have committed myself to use the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi to improve my life and recommend it to everyone, everywhere. I have read his book over and over every year, and it has been a source of inspiration to me. I have listened to Senator Avinash Singh, and he keeps saying, what is happening in our society today. But while he was talking, I was sitting there and I was saying to myself, if I had my way, I would like to say that envy is the cause of everything in our society today. People jealous each other for nothing, for something, And that leads to the backbiting, which is destroying the whole society. And why they do it, God alone knows. But God will take care of all of us. And I sincerely thank you all for choosing San Fernando, Your Excellency. And we will make sure that you come back again. I'm sure it will be successful. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Worship, for those. Now, see, I am physically challenged, as they would say. I'm so very tall, you know, so mic off the holder. We have come to the most exciting part of the event, quite honestly. No disrespect, gentlemen, you all spoke beautifully. But for me, the most exciting part is what we are about to come to. And this is my last opportunity before we have the formal cutting of the ribbon, the declaration of the event open. So I want to take this opportunity to ask a small favor of a gentleman who has been very helpful for me in putting this event, and that is our Deputy Mayor, a cultural icon in his own right, Alderman Junior Regrello, who will bring a small vote of thanks before you hear my voice for the last time on the mic and then the cutting of the ribbon. So, Alderman, while he's making his way up, let me say, you know, a lot of the tenets of Gandhiji are very similar. My brother in scouting, Pandit Surendra Maharaj, is sitting there. I'm a Cub Scout leader and he's a Scout leader. And we will tell you, what do we want of our young people, male or female, boy or girl? What do we want of our young people? We want them to do the right thing when nobody knows they're doing the right thing, just because it's the right thing to do. If your conscience and what you see when you look in the mirror is what tells you that I am doing the right thing or the wrong thing, if that's the only thing you need to do the right thing, then everybody will do the right thing. Because it doesn't matter who's there to see you do it. You just do it because it's the right thing to do. And we talk about all the crime and everything that happens, and the reality is, it's not somebody else. Sometimes we talk, and I'm guilty of that myself, we talk about it as if they're strangers out there. But it's somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's brother, somebody's grandchild, somebody's father. We are all responsible. And that is one thing Gandhiji taught us. If nothing else you take from, one of the main things to remember is that we are all collectively responsible because we are all one. When we start differentiating them and us, is where some of our biggest problems begin. So, I ask the tall, stately gentleman to make his way up to the mic to bring a short vote of thanks.
His Bishop the Mayor, Alderman Qasim Hussain, His Excellency High Commissioner of India, Shri Gupta, Senator Avinash Singh, our Master of Ceremonies, Councillor Alderman, with your predecessor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are very thankful for so many things here this evening. One, for good weather, for your presence, the opportunity for this exhibition, but more importantly, for the life and times of Mahatma Gandhi. That's why we're here this evening. There's so many things have been said this evening that are so profound and that resonate with us as we leave here. For those of us who didn't have the opportunity to read books over and over and over again, but we have known, I went to school on Harris Promenade, and I remember the statue of a little man standing in concrete just next to the bandstand before it was removed the way it is now. And in those days, the promenade was grass, so my mother would say, and that's Mahatma Gandhi there. That's the only statue we had, I think, in the corner in Harris Promenade. Now we have other icons there. I think we have Marcus Garvey, and Dr. Williams is coming to join all these great icons there. But we, on behalf of the City Corporation, the Mayor and members of the Council, want to first thank the High Commissioner and for understanding the importance and the significance of this exhibition and bringing it here today and for the rest of the week. And as Alderman Peter said, we'll ensure that all the schools participate Recently, I heard a school teacher said to me that she asked her class, her drama class, she said, this term we're going to study Shakespeare. And the entire class said to her, who is Shakespeare? Let us hope at the end of this exhibition, when the schools come and visit here, and we ask about Mahatma Gandhi, nobody will say, who is Mahatma Gandhi? Because we start to Google, but we don't Google these historical issues that are so significant to our world development. So I want to firstly again thank the High Commission and the team for bringing this to San Fernando. And I think it's an opportunity not only for San Fernando, but for rural Trinidad and Tobago, where we can get people can have the opportunity from Pinal and probably Faisabad, Supari, and surrounding districts. And I think we will cooperate with other corporations to come and visit this exhibition. I also want to thank particularly Oleman Bistessa, who against all the odds were able to work tirelessly. I think we left here around 10 last night, putting it up. I was very impressed with how we did it. And I must tell you, no professionals came in, but all done in-house, and there's no cost to it. So nobody will be coming around asking for any donation. So that's how skillful we are here. But that's what we're about. So again, I want to thank the members of staff as well in the corporation, the CEO, Deputy CEO who's here with us, and other members who stayed back late yesterday to ensure it's successful. And I also want to commend Oleman Bicester for the control that she has of her husband, because she was only given instructions and he was putting up things there last night. And those of you who are very observant, you heard when she said a little while ago, Sundar took the laptop around, and he went very, very obediently. In my next life, Sundar, I will follow you. I'll be very successful, a good husband. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very significant evening. It's very important to us. And for this team, I want to thank all of you for coming here and making this evening, and thank God for making this evening the success it has been. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Alderman Junior Rivera. Even though you will put me in trouble, I have to add to that. I have to thank him. He has been unwell fighting the virus, and yet came out to assist in terms of getting all the guest lists and so on. And since, you know, my wonderful husband, Sundar, who's sitting there and who is cringing because we've mentioned him in public, the Deputy Mayor opened the door, so he always tells me, you always talk about us, don't talk about us. But I have to say, Your Worship, I have to say a special thank you. I am so blessed. He is, and this gentleman and every gentleman past and to come, I hope that I am blessed with you as my husband. He is one of the most wonderful people you can meet. And yes, he was here till very late on the boards with the staple gun and sword. Thank you, Mary. There is also a lady who you will not see yet, and she will be very upset that I mentioned her, but Miss Rick, I have to mention Miss Corinne. Corinne is and she's hiding somewhere, Your Worship, but she is, you know, they say when God can't come, He sends somebody. She was wonderful. She was here with us till very late, as the Deputy Mayor said. He was here as well, till very late with us, helping lights and bear on the ladder, stapling, doing all of that, and even today with very little sleep. I had to say it out loud in front of everyone to give it validation, to share that knowledge with you. This is the last of my speaking. The good stuff comes now. I hope you are as blown away by this exhibition as I was when I saw these pictures, because I've been hearing about it and so on when Harriet was talking 100 photos about his life. And I want to put a plug in for what you said, Your Worship. You said you'd read his book over and over. And I want to bring that back for all the grandparents and the parents here. If you don't want to go back to the old time book, or you have stories like Deputy Mayor said, he remembered as a child, put your children and your grandchildren, no matter how old your children are, sit them down. You're still here, you're still the boss. When that time comes and you do the shroud and they do the shroud and you're gonna, while you're here, you're still the boss. Put your adult children and your grandchildren to sit down and tell them the stories. Get the books, get the films. Google it, you see, I tell you, Kevin, we have to trademark that. After God, there's Google. We need to make some money for the city. But Google it if you have to. And sit. Not just, I mean, we're here for Gandhiji, but not just Gandhiji. There's so much history that our young people do not know. Sit, have family night. Father, I think you would endorse that. Sit together, the generation, the 3 generations, or the 4 generations as it may be, and have family night where you talk philosophy, and ideas and ideals and history and things that we've all gone by. You remember, you worship, we have conversations of things you remember all the time. Gupta ji, I'm sure, for you as well. You grew up in India and we've sort of adopted and made it all one global village. But your memories of childhood, I'm sure. My mother is here, my mother-in-law is here, my sasumai, my mom, they're all here. Their history, the things, the stories they tell us, and they're lost. Because we don't document, we don't record it, we don't write it down, we don't even verbalize it. So the children and the grandchildren don't know. If we didn't have these pictures to tell the story, what would have happened? But here we go, we get to the meat of the thing. Thank you so much for all that. You've been very patient when we had to wait for this entire thing, your worship. Gupta ji, here's Your Excellency. We have the scissor and we would like you to cut the ribbon and declare this exhibition open. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you would stand, and please feel free to come around as we
You also do the therapy. Right there now.